My name is Anthony Antolic. Join me with Anarchy Empowered as we explore science and education through a whole new light with an element of truth that is hopefully divinely inspired.
Hi, this is Greg from in5d.com, and today we're going to be talking about negative RH blood types and alien lineages. Religion wants us to believe that we all descended from Adam and Eve, but that doesn't explain the differences in ethnicity, race, differences in skin color, nor does it explain the differences in blood types and whether you're RH positive or negative. There are 3 different blood types, A, B, and O, and 2 different RH values, either positive or negative. If we allegedly came from Adam and Eve, then it's impossible to have 3 different blood types.
Okay, enough is enough. I started this video with the rhetoric of trailer trash because I'm tired of the mockery. Presenting theories about aliens and making absurd accusations and observations that the RH negative factor doesn't appear in nature anywhere in the world. Really. Later on in this video, you're going to see not 1, but 2 newly discovered relatives to the human genome, which means that that's 2 more possibilities for the RH factor. Beyond that, I'm also going to show you a video about a organ in the human body that has always been there, but scientists have overlooked it for generations. We tend to be arrogant when it comes to our observations and our so-called science. The reality is that there is always room to learn, and that is what Antolic Enterprises is all about. Education. Teaching people to keep an open mind. So, please, watch the video, think about what is being said, and remember this. Every video that I've shown you has pretty much pointed to a need to drive God out of the picture. The trailer trash video in the beginning of this video starts out by questioning the story of Adam and Eve, which most Christians just accept as a metaphor and don't even acknowledge God creating the world in 24 hours. So, think about this. The last video, I introduced why America is addicted to our own addictions. And pretty much this is along the same lines. the reality is that if you push religion out, you have to replace it with something else. You replace it with something else, and anything can fill that void. Be it aliens or other forms of superstition. The reality will always be that mankind needs something to be out there that is more powerful than ourselves.
So, where did these blood types come from? One scenario is provided by Zecharia Sitchin, who believes that our DNA was manipulated by the Anunnaki according to the Sumerian tablets that he deciphered. Another scenario is that we were seeded here by various galactic nations. That would explain the differences in ethnicity, races, and blood types. The third possibility is that our DNA was manipulated and we were also seeded here by various galactic races. There are certain traits that RH women and men tend to have that include an extra vertebrae or tailbone in some people, lower than normal body temperatures, lower than normal blood pressures, and higher mental analytical abilities, and several other traits that are in the article listed in the more info section of this video. Some people call these reptilian traits, and let's be clear about this. I honestly don't believe all reptilians are bad, nor are all Greys, Draconians, or any other alleged race. It seems we all have our share of idiots in each race, so if you have these supposed reptilian traits, then I wouldn't take it too seriously as being something negative. It's interesting that certain geographic areas of the world are Rh negative. Would these be the places that certain star families seeded their people? Negative Rh blood, whether it be O, A, B, or AB negative, is only found in 15% of the population. What is your blood type? Do you think that we are descendants of Adam and Eve? Why are there so many races, ethnicities, and blood types?
So, it's impossible to have 3 different blood types, really. Let's get into the basic idea of evolution, and not evolution according to what the schools teach, but adapt and overcome. The video at the beginning of this video, the one I refer to it as the trailer trash video, definitely brings up a good point. The theology of Christianity and Judaism, well, creationism in itself, does not do justice to why there are so many differences in the human genome. But yes, it does. The Bible talks about a story of the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel was created to get closer to God, but get closer to God on man's terms. Out of anger, Jehovah cursed mankind and drove them apart from each other, meaning that they would migrate to other parts of the world. Okay? I'm a long-standing believer that the Bible is a metaphor. That Noah is just an extension of Gilgamesh and so on. So let's look at it another way. The Bible talks about going out into other parts of the world. Well, other parts of the world means colder environments, harsher light, different varieties of food, scarcer food, and so on. As the people adapted to their diets, the blood types would also have to adapt. The skin would have to adapt. The bone structures would have to adapt in order to accommodate for the environment. In fact, most anthropologists agree that there aren't just 3 blood types. There are 3 different subspecies of mankind: the Caucasoid, the Mongoloid, and the Negroid. And that comes down to bones. Okay, you cannot argue about the differences in skeletons. They are a different genome. Okay? Type O negative blood digests food way differently than AB or A and B blood types. AB is a hybrid between A and B, obviously, that basically happened in America with the Chinese and the Negro slaves interbreeding and the dietary exceptions happening. This is not hard to accept. This is documented fact. You look at it in any forensic anthropology book, forensic osteology, Bass's handbook will give you several different reference points in the skulls to identify whether or not there's a Caucasian skull or Negroid or Caucasoid. And this is just how it is. So in fact, theology does explain these differences. It is interesting to me, however, that our society is so willing to reject what theology has long accepted to come up with something so ludicrous.
The oldest cancer in the world known to science is around 11,000 years old. Researchers from the Wellcome Trust Sanger Institute in the United Kingdom analyzed the DNA from a sample of the cancer and found the genetic evidence of its origin dates back to a single ancient dog. This sexually transmitted dog cancer, known as canine transmissible venereal tumor, or CTVT, is one of 2 known rare forms of transmissible cancer in the world. The other has been found among Tasmanian devils and is transmitted when they bite each other's face. Both kinds of cancer are believed to be caused by low genetic diversity due to inbreeding among canine populations and Tasmanian devils. Professor Sir Mike Stratton, director of the Sanger Institute, is quoted as saying, "The genome of the transmissible dog cancer will help us to understand the process that allows cancers to become transmissible."
A team of researchers hailing from numerous points around the globe has found the earliest known occurrence of cancer in a hominin. The affected specimen, originally found in South Africa's Swakrans cave, dates back roughly 1.7 million years. For the study, the team used micro-CT technology to analyze the foot bone of the ancient human relative. When comparing those results to biopsy images of modern-day bone cancer patients, they found characteristics consistent with an especially aggressive form of the disease. Though cancer is much more prevalent now than it once was, largely due to environmental toxins and other byproducts of the Western lifestyle, it has long been a bane of living things, said a co-author of the study. While we've known other ancient animals, even dinosaurs, suffered from cancer, this is the oldest known case of cancer in a close human relative.
All right, let me run something by you. If you didn't catch it, the transmissible cancer that's found in the Tasmanian devil is transmitted by an animal bite. It transfers from one animal to another by biting each other's faces while they're mating. Is it possible that one of our human ancestors got bit by an animal carrying this cancer, and in a human host, the cancer mutates, and thus we ended up with all the different versions of cancer that we have? I'm just throwing it out there. It's not very well documented that we have knowledge of what causes cancer in a natural form. Environmental abuses to our body, such as industrial chemicals, smoking, and so on, but nothing naturally occurring. So it could be very possible.
It's not every day that researchers can claim that they've unearthed evidence of a completely new kind of human being, but that's exactly what archaeologists in Russia say that they've come across. But how could a tooth and a finger discovered from a species called the Denisovans, who were once widespread across Asia, revolutionize our understanding of early man? The BBC science correspondent Palab Ghosh tries to explain.
Tens of thousands of years ago, our species lived alongside a different type of human, Neanderthal man. Now, scientists have discovered that we also shared the planet with another distinct human creature, the Denisovans. We know this from DNA analysis of this piece of bone and tooth. They were found in these caves in southern Siberia. It's a discovery that's astounded the experts.
If the team publishing this have got it right, it's nothing short of sensational, because what they've discovered is a completely new lineage of DNA that is not Neanderthal, that is not modern human, that was probably widespread in Asia, and actually links in to one particular group of living humans.
And all non-Africans have some Neanderthal DNA. It's these startling findings, published in the journal Nature, that are changing our view of human evolution. It's beginning to emerge that several types of humans coexisted, but why did these others die out? We simply don't know. But for a while, there were many others who walked the earth with us. Palab Ghosh, BBC News.
It is the most significant discovery of early human relatives that we've never seen before in the fossil record.
The discovery of a new species of human ancestor, Homo naledi, has just been announced. The fossils were found in Rising Star Cave in the Cradle of Humankind World Heritage Site, 50 kilometers northwest of Johannesburg, and the archaeological expeditions were led by Professor Lee Berger.
Homo naledi was discovered in 2013 by teams here in the Rising Star System in a chamber that we've named the Dinaledi Chamber, or Chamber of Stars. It is the most significant and extensive discovery of early human relatives of fossils ever made on the continent of Africa. More than 1,550 remains, representing more than 15 individuals from infants to babies to toddlers to tweens, teenagers, young adults, and elderly. The species is remarkable. It's got a tiny brain, barely larger than an orange, with small teeth but that are primitive in shape. Staying across a relatively tall body, maybe 1.5 meters tall, in the males at least, females about 1.4, 1.45 meters, skinny, with human-like arms, but an ape-like thorax and chest, with a very primitive pelvis. The hands are a mix between very, very advanced human-like hands, but the fingers are curved, like very, very primitive ancient human ancestors. From mid-thigh down, it looks like a human. Long legs, human-like feet. Really a combination that we've never seen before in the fossil record.
But the most striking discovery was what Homo naledi might have been doing in the cave.
And we've come to the conclusion that this species of non-human hominin was deliberately disposing of its dead, taking the dangerous journey into this deep chamber to place its dead or drop its dead into a place inaccessible by any other. Something that prior to this we thought was unique to humans and in fact maybe identified us. Now it doesn't.
The fossils, which are as yet undated, will now be on public display.
What I'm doing at the moment actually is preparing the fossil material to be moved out to Marapeng, to the museum there. Part of that is in preparation for the scientific announcement, and then the fossil material will actually stay out there for public viewing. What we're going to do is build a representational skeleton for everyone to see, and then we're going to sort of supplement that with some of the other bones that we have that are more complete. So I think it will look pretty amazing.
We take fossil material that we've excavated, we then scan it using different methods. One method is CT scanning, another method is laser scanning. We then take the 3D files and we print them on our 3D printer. We're printing a skull and mandible, so almost complete skull, just to give an idea of exactly what this animal may have looked like. Printing the skull takes quite a while. At the moment, to print the entire skull, you're looking at 38 hours of print time.
The public can come face to face with the new discovery at the Marapeng Visitor Centre at the Cradle of Humankind World Heritage Site.